Hi, we want to welcome everybody to the Strategic Planning Committee meeting. It's Tuesday, March the 23rd, 2021. It's just about 7:31 p.m. So we're going to go ahead and call the Strategic Committee meeting to order. The first agenda topic is just to approve the February 9th, 2021 meeting minutes. Can I have a motion to approve or the meeting minutes or any questions regarding the minutes?
I can find the unmute. Yeah, I make a motion to approve.
All right, and I'll make a second. So the meeting minutes are approved. Colleen, did you have any questions?
I didn't. No, I thought they looked fine.
Okay, great. All right, we can go ahead and go on to our next agenda item, the federal programs review.
Hi, everyone. This is Jen Weaver, Director of Teaching and Learning. And I'm going to take a few minutes today to do our annual federal programs review. It'll be a little different this year than in years past, just because of COVID, like everything else. So it's kind of adjusted how we do things and how we look at spending and setting goals and that sort of thing. But my goal today is to just review a couple of the federal programs in which we receive funds for and to get your input on these programs for next year. So I know I sent the presentation to you yesterday just so you can get a heads up and start to process and think a little bit about some of the feedback you might be able to offer us. So we'll do that towards the end, but I'll do a quick review of what I sent you so it makes sense. Okay, so in a very brief overview, public schools, whether it's your public districts or charters, receive federal funds from the federal government, and I know Donna speaks to that all of the time, and what that means and implications for us at Avon Grove Charter. But in a nutshell, the federal government distributes funds to the states and then distributes funds down to the LEA level, local education agency level. So this is a nice visual that kind of explains that and how that works. But I'm not going to dive too deep into it because we'd be here all night. A couple of the federal programs that we're going to talk about today are Title I, which is improving academic achievement of the disadvantaged. So these numbers that you're looking at right here is the amount that we received last year for each of these federal programs. Title II, which is essentially deemed as supporting effective instruction. Title III is the support of our English language learners. And Title IV, which is student support and academic enrichment grants. So that's what we're looking at right now. And then slightly higher going into next year. So in terms of Title I, there's two designations. There's the school-wide designation and a targeted assist designation. We are targeted because the percentage of students in our school K-12 that receive free and reduced lunch is at 33%. If you hit that 40% threshold, you're able to apply for school-wide. So essentially the difference is within targeted assistance, your Title I funds are targeted or specific to students who receive reading and or math interventions, excuse me. And in our case at the K-3 level. And those students are deemed as Title I students. Now, there's not a direct correlation between the students who are classified as receiving free and reduced lunch to those who receive academic interventions at our school. They could be some of the same students, but it's not an automatic because you qualify for free and reduced lunch that you also receive interventions. We go through the MTSS process and use a lot of data to determine which students do receive those interventions. So that's targeted. The money goes specifically to the programming of those students that are deemed as Title I students. And then school-wide, if we were to reach that 40% threshold and apply for it, the school-wide designation, then we could apply funds to all students within our school, not just a specific or targeted group. Historically, we have spent our funds on salaries and benefits, programming, parent-family engagement, which is a huge component of Title I, and professional development. Each year within these programs, these titled programs, we have to set performance goals, and then we have to report out on our performance goals at the end of the fiscal year, and then update those goals if needed for the following school year. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because we had set goals last year for Title I that were tied to achievement, specifically reading achievement in the K-3 building. And because of COVID, we weren't able to get our spring benchmark data. So we weren't able to see if we met our goal or not that we set last year. At that time, we said, okay, let's be hopeful that we'll have a typical school year for the 2021 school year. And so we basically rolled over the goal, the Title I performance goal. But because things were a little wonky at the start of this year, we didn't get our baseline data for this goal until just recently in February. So that means we're hopeful that 75% of the students who are receiving Title I reading instruction will benchmark at their grade level. Currently, students who are not reading at grade level would be the ones getting intervention. So the goal is to make up that deficit and get them reading on grade level. So as of February, we had 7.8% of our students in grades 2 and 3 that were receiving interventions up to February met the grade level requirement. So we're going to try and bump that up to a little higher by the springtime. Title II programming. Last year, or I should say this current school year, excuse me, we purchased what's called the 95%, Title I expenditures. We purchased the 95% group. So this is a research-based reading intervention that has proven to be very successful in numerous studies and has come highly recommended from our support at the IU and various conferences and workshops we attended. So we used some of the money from Title I and were able to purchase this very expensive phonics lesson library, and the interventionists have been using it with their students this year. One other small thing is we send out our Reading Connections newsletter for our Title I and Title III students. So we purchased a license to receive these reading newsletters that are nice. They come already done for us and translated as well. So they get sent out on a monthly basis. Like I said, parent-family engagement is huge within Title I, and money should be allocated towards it. So just a couple of the things that we're able to do this year with everything being virtual is our virtual math night. So that program we were able to purchase with title funds. There are times throughout the year we need to call in an interpreter for conferences and things like that to translate for our ESL population. Our virtual parent series that we've been promoting since the spring, which is really cool, and it's been a nice addition to our school community. And then in the past, we've been able to purchase summer reading books for students. And again, because it falls under Title I, that means we are able to purchase books for those students who are receiving Title I services, not every student. Title II. So otherwise known as resources to support systems for excellent teaching and leading. So a lot of this is tied to professional development for teachers and administrators. So last year, when we set the goal, we said that 100% of those who were starting letters, so those of you at the board meeting last, I forget, spring-ish, winter-ish, we had talked about letters training, which we've partnered with the IU, and they've been able to train our teachers for a few years now in basically brain research and how your brain learns how to read. And it's made a huge impact on our teachers and ultimately our students in supporting them in reading instruction. So each year we've been fortunate enough to use funds from Title II to get a new cohort of teachers partnered up with the IU and to go through this multi-year training. So we're up to cohort 4, which is really amazing. And we've already planned out cohort 5 for next year. So the performance goal that we said for this would be that 100% of our staff member would complete all the modules this year. The reason why we're at 77% is because a couple of the staff members left, resigned, and they were a part of the cohort. So Another performance goal there is the ISTE Summer Learning Academy. So in the summer, we offered all staff members the opportunity to participate in a summer online virtual academy that would help them understand teaching hybrid and virtually for this upcoming school year. So we had 52% of our staff that participated in it, and we paid for that again through title funds. The 50% of staff earned growth rating. That one we had to put on pause because we had to adjust our evaluation system due to the changes of this school year. So that will be carried over into the next school year. And with our teacher induction, we ran into some issues with coverage this year. So really getting subs to be able to cover classes for a teacher or a mentor and a mentee a couple times over the course of the year was just not realistic at this time. So that's another goal we'll move over to next year, but will be tied into Title II. So again, some of the expenditures, again, letters, ISTE Summer Academy, Comply, and PA-ETEP. So Comply is where we keep track of all the Act 48 hours teachers need as part of their certification, and we submit to PDE. And PA-ETEP is our online evaluation portal that we use. Again, both funded through Title II. And then lastly, Title IV is kind of the catch-all in some ways because it's to support well-rounded education. So there's so much involved in a well-rounded education. So there's a lot of opportunities to spend these funds in different facets of the school. So last year, we tied a lot to PBIS. So funds were allocated towards PBIS, which is amazing. So our goal was to decrease the number of office discipline referrals. That's what ODR stands for. But again, because of COVID, last year we weren't able to see if we met our goals. So we forwarded to this school year. But again, because kids weren't in consistently from August to February, we can't compare the data from the 19-20 school year. So we'll have to revisit that goal. Okay, and then last is the equity plan, but I'll come back to that just so we have time to brainstorm some of our, suggestions and input on the Title I, II, and IV funds. So how we're going to do this is I'll put you into 4 random breakout rooms, and then I'll give you about 5-7 minutes. We'll see how we're doing on time to work through each one of these titles. So once I put you in breakout rooms, I'll set the timer for, let's say, 5 minutes, and you and your group members will discuss ways in which you think as a school entity, we could strengthen parent-family engagement and potentially look at how we would spend funds, parent-family engagement funds to support that. Then I will send out an alert in your breakout room and say, okay, it's time to switch to Title II. At that time, you'll talk about how we should allocate professional development funds for teachers and leaders in the upcoming school year. Oops, again, I'll give you a breakout room alert. We'll look at Title IV, which is what are some additional offerings we can offer students at AGCS to enhance their well-rounded education. When you're in your breakout rooms, you can reference this. I'll put a link to the entire slideshow so you can access it quickly, but I did take some snapshots of the federal programs manual that gives a little more specificity, excuse me, of each of the titles. So you can see some of the ways in which money can be spent. So they're all listed here. And then within your breakout room, so if you're breakout room 1, you can just come in here under Title I when you're talking about that and jot down some of your ideas for parent-family engagement and then so forth. Any questions? Okay. All right, Bruno, do I have to stop share, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, before breakout
So if
rooms.
anybody's watching the live stream, the main room is the only one that will be recorded. So you'll just have to kind of summarize when we get back.
Yes, we can do that.
Yep.
Do I have the ability, Brian, for breakout rooms? I don't
Nope,
see.
I'll do it. You want
got it.
4 random?
Yep, 4 random's good. You don't have to put me into one. I can pop in and out of the others.
I can't exclude you, so you're just gonna go somewhere.
It's fine.
Minutes wise, Jen, do you just want me to join a group or? Oh, she's gone. I guess Donna or Brian, could you answer that?
You can go and join and have a conversation.
Join it. Okay. And then just base it off the slides. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
can you do an announcement?
I was
For
I was
me?
pulling you back. I was pulling you back to make you a co-host too. What do you
Oh,
want me to
okay.
say though? What do you want me to say?
Can you just say, you now have 5 minutes to discuss your Title II feedback? Thank
There you go.
you.
Do you want me to push you back down? I've just been jumping through the rooms.
Can you broadcast for me again? Oh no. Oh wait, maybe I can do it. Hold on.
I can do it. You want them to move on to Title IV?
Yes, please. Thank you.